All right, let's move on to the last email of the day. And the last email today comes to us from Dank, who writes, something I see a lot in online discussions, mainly for large franchises, and most recently for having two separate Joker movies, is that an idea or movie might, quote-unquote, confuse the general movie-going audience. Usually, I feel like the only people who would be confused are younger kids. Do you think people are underestimating the intelligence of the average moviegoer? And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I used to be one of those guys that would say, that'll confuse the audience, that'll confuse you. I used to say that a lot. I did. But you know what? I've come to realize that that's just not true. The average movie-going audience are not a pack of blithering idiots like we assume them to be. We can all be blithering idiots sometimes, but generally speaking, the general movie-going audience is not a pack of blithering idiots. Now, look, for instance, take when Rogue One was coming out. That came out right after Episode 7. That did cause some confusion. Like, I had a conversation with people saying, wait a minute, so is that girl the new girl playing Rey? This happens after Star Wars. There was a little bit of confusion, but guess what? Everybody, once they got an explanation, oh, okay, yeah, now I get it. You know, I had a conversation with one person once asking me, so wait, is this girl the new Rey? I'm like, no. This is a different movie that takes place in a different time period with different characters. And they went, oh, okay, yeah. That's all it took. Like, we have this perception, and I was one of the people who perpetuated this perception, so I'm guilty here. This is on me, too. We have this perception that the general movie-going audience out there is going to hear, wait, so there's a Joker movie, Jared Leto movie, wait, and another Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix? And then all of a sudden they become the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where their faces start to melt. And their faces melt and everything, like, because they just can't wrap their heads around it. Like, no, it's a different universe. It's like a different look at how it could have been. Oh, okay. They'll get it. The general movie-going audience will get it. Now, there are things that studios could do that could possibly and potentially set up massive confusion. There are things that could happen to do, but for the most part, a lot of these discussions that come up like that will confuse the audience. Maybe it'll cause a little bit of uncertainty at first, but the audience will get it for the most part. 95% of the audience will get it, and the other 5% will eventually get on board, and they'll figure it out too. And again, I'm just as guilty as anybody is perpetuating that myth that that'll confuse the audience, and, you know, the Lost Ark will make everybody's faces melted. But it won't. They'll be fine. People will be fine. Now, that doesn't mean that two Joker movies is a good idea. I'm actually kind of curious to see what they're doing about it, but just because it won't confuse the audiences, that doesn't mean it's a good idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. Who knows? Well, that's up in the air. We'll have to wait and find that out. But yeah, generally speaking, I think it is overstated, the amount of confusion that audiences will have about certain things. Okay, guys, with that out of the way, we got a couple of minutes left here.